Before we begin, take a breath. Not to relax, not to escape, just to arrive. What you're about to hear is not doctrine. It is not religion as most people were taught. It is not about belief, obedience, or worship. This is a description of the inner pathway to enlightenment as preserved in the Gnostic teachings attributed to Jesus. Texts like the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Mary, the Gospel of Philip, and Pistis Sophia. These teachings were not meant to replace your authority with mine. They were meant to return authority to you. This is not about following Jesus as an external figure. This is about understanding what he taught concerning awakening, remembrance, and direct knowing. Listen slowly. Let the words land where they need to. And if something resonates, don't believe it, notice it. The path to enlightenment is not something given to you from outside. It is not handed down by institutions, temples, or rulers. It is not hidden in rituals meant to impress the crowd. The kingdom is not coming in ways that can be observed. It does not arrive with signs in the sky or armies at the gates. The kingdom is already here. It is spread upon the earth and people do not see it. The first step is recognition. You must recognize that what you have been taught to seek outwardly has always existed inwardly. You have been trained to look up, to wait, to obey, to defer knowing. But the true teacher does not replace your sight. The true teacher restores it. When I say know yourself, I am not speaking of your name, your role, your history, or your wounds. Those are garments. They are not the body beneath. If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. The path begins when you stop mistaking the mask for the face. You are taught to believe you are incomplete, that you must be repaired, that you are fallen. This belief is the first prison. The truth is not that you are broken. The truth is that you are asleep. Ignorance is not sin. Unconsciousness is not evil. They are conditions, conditions that can be healed through awareness. The rulers of this world depend on your forgetfulness. They thrive when you believe authority lives outside you. But when you awaken, their power dissolves. Enlightenment begins when you realize that salvation is not rescue, it is remembrance. The second step is discernment. You must learn to distinguish between the voice of truth and the voice of imitation. Not every voice that claims divinity speaks from the light. Not every command that wears holiness carries wisdom. The false voice speaks in fear. It threatens punishment. It demands obedience without understanding. It tells you to shrink, submit, and wait. The true voice speaks in clarity. It does not coerce. It invites. It awakens curiosity, not terror. If a teaching makes you feel smaller, it is not from the fullness. If a teaching cuts you off from your own knowing, it is not from the light. If a teaching insists you are unworthy of direct experience, it is a gatekeeper, not a guide. The light does not compete. It illuminates. You are not meant to believe blindly. You are meant to see. The third step is inner silence. The world is loud because it is afraid of stillness. Stillness reveals truth. Noise maintains illusion. When you sit in silence, the layers begin to fall away. Thoughts rise, fears surface, old voices echo. Do not fight them. Do not cling to them. Let them pass like clouds. Beyond the noise is the witness, the observer, the awareness that sees without judgment. This awareness is not created. It has always been present. When you rest there, you begin to experience the light not as belief, but as direct knowing. This is why I said the kingdom is within you, not metaphorically, literally. The fourth step is unification. The world teaches separation, spirit from body, heaven from earth, sacred from ordinary, but division is the language of the lower realms. When you realize that spirit and matter are not enemies, the false hierarchy collapses. The body is not a prison, it is a vessel of knowing. When you eat consciously, walk consciously, love consciously, you bring light into matter. This is not escape from the world. This is redemption of it. When the two become one, when the inner aligns with the outer, when what you think, feel, and do are in harmony, you pass through the gate. This is why I said, when you make the two one, you will enter the kingdom. The fifth step is compassion born of clarity. Compassion is not pity. Pity assumes hierarchy. True compassion arises when you see yourself in every being. When you recognize that all suffering comes from forgetfulness, judgment dissolves. You no longer need enemies. You no longer need scapegoats. You see rulers as frightened. You see oppressors as asleep. You see violence as confusion seeking resolution. This does not mean you accept harm. It means you do not become it. You respond from awareness, not reaction. The sixth step is freedom from fear of death. Death is not the end of consciousness. It is a transition of form. What is born of flesh returns to flesh. What is born of light remains light. When you no longer identify solely with the temporary, death loses its grip. Fear loses its leverage. This is why those who awaken cannot be controlled. They no longer bargain their truth for survival. The seventh step is embodiment of the light. Enlightenment is not withdrawal, it is presence. You do not ascend by abandoning the world. You illuminate it by being fully here. The awakened one does not dominate, they radiate. They do not preach superiority, they demonstrate coherence. Their life becomes the teaching. They move through the world awake, aware, compassionate, and free. Not because they were chosen, but because they remembered. This is the path I walked to show what is possible. Not to be worshipped from afar, but to be followed inward. You were never meant to kneel forever. You were meant to rise. The light you seek is the light you are. If something in this stirred you, sit with it. You don't need to agree with everything. You don't need to adopt labels or beliefs. Awakening is not about collecting ideas. It is about remembering what you already know. If you found value here, consider sharing this with someone who is quietly questioning, quietly searching, quietly waking up. And if you want to continue exploring teachings like this, Gnostic texts, hidden history, inner liberation, and consciousness beyond control, you're welcome to subscribe. Not to follow me, but to walk your own remembering. The kingdom is not elsewhere, it is already here, and so are you.